All right, welcome back, Bobcats. This is Mr. Day. We are doing Chapter 7, Lesson number 3, Written Expressions or Numerical Expressions. So our objective today, let's talk a little bit about this objective first. Our objective today, it says, I will use numbers and operation symbols to write verbal phrases as numerical expressions. So let's analyze this for a second. I'm going to use numbers. Well, we all know what numbers are, right? Those are digits. And operation symbols. So operation symbols are plus, minus, multiply, divide. So we're going to be using numbers. And we're going to be using symbols. We're going to be doing that to write verbal phrases as numerical expressions. Now, we've heard that word expressions over and over again. Remember, an expression is just a numerical sentence. So that can be 3 times 4. It could be a complicated sentence like we worked on yesterday when we were working on order of operations. It could be 2 squared minus parentheses 8 times 4 parentheses minus 8. All right, that's a little more complicated numerical expression, but that's all we're talking about. When we're talking about numerical expressions, it's just a bunch of numbers separated by symbols, the operation symbols, to create an expression. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at these expressions today, but we're not going to be looking so much like we did yesterday with order of operations, but what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking specifically at putting these expressions into words. So in real life situations, how can I write an expression? All right, let's go ahead and take our notebooks out. Again, it's Chapter 7, Lesson 3. For our vocabulary, we have one term, it's numerical expression, like what I was just talking about, a combination of numbers and operations. So a numerical expression can be as simple as, whoopsies, I hit the wrong button there. Let's back it up. All right. Let's try that again. Numerical expression can be as simple as 2 plus 1, that's a numerical expression. And we talked about something that's a little more complex, like we talked about yesterday with order of operations. It could be 8 squared minus 4, 4 divided by, parentheses, 8 plus 2. That's also a numerical expression. So it's any combination of numbers and operations to solve for a value. That's essentially what a numerical expression is. So let's take a little deeper dive into this. So we have an example here. It says write a numerical expression. Okay, so again, oops, let's get red so we can see it a little bit better. So numerical expression, that's numbers and symbols to represent each real-world situation. So let's take a look at this first situation. So it says Mrs. Tanner removes, that's a keyword. What happens when we remove something? What operation does that mean? Think about that. So Mrs. Tanner removes 5 students from a class of 26. She then divides them into 7 groups. So what is happening there? So Mrs. Tanner, she has a class, right? How many students are in that class? Well, it says she has a class of 26, right? And what does she do with that class of 26? That class of 20, it says she removes 5 students. What is happening? What operation happens when you remove something? When you take it away? We're taking away 5 students, aren't we? So she has a class of 26. She's taking away 5. But she's not done then. This also says that she divides them into 7 groups. So she had a class of 26. She took away 5, and then it said that she divided them by 7. But can I leave my my expression this way? Would it represent that? There's something else I need to do to make that expression fit the situation. Do you see it? I need to put parentheses here because I need to remove those 5 students first. This happened first, right? Then she did this. So I need to show that in my expression. I need to make sure I show that with these parentheses so that I make sure I subtract first, because that's what she did. She removed 5 students. Then she split them into 7 groups, right? So let's see what this equals out to. So we have 26 minus 5. That expression there, 26 minus 5, is equal to 21. And then she divided this children into 7 groups. How many were in each group? There were 3 students in each group. Okay, or yeah. Here is another example. So it says Vera buys 3 rabbits and then adds them to a group of 5 rabbits. Then they multiply to 3 times the number of rabbits. All right, so let's take a look and see what we got going on here. So first, she starts out with 3 rabbits, right? So we got 3 little bunnies here. And adds, well, that's pretty obvious what operation is going there, right? We're adding. So she has the 3 rabbits. She adds what? She adds a group of 5 more rabbits. So she had 3 rabbits. She added 5 rabbits. And then it says, the next sentence, then they multiply to 3 times the number. Well, what is 3 times? It almost says it just like this one does, where it's adding. When it's times, we're multiplying, aren't we? So she had 3 rabbits, and she got 5 more rabbits, and then they multiplied 3 times. Can I just put it like that? No, like the last problem, we have to put parentheses around this. So she started with 3, she added 5, but I need to multiply the 3 and the 5 rabbits together in order to figure out how many total rabbits she has now. So if we do the math on it, oops, I did that wrong, didn't I? I was multiplying there. That should be 8 times 3, which is equal to, now she has a total of 24 rabbits. So where she started with 3 rabbits, and then added the 5 rabbits, and then took those and multiplied it by 3 to end up with a total of 24 rabbits. So that's taking the numbers, the real life situation, writing an expression, and that's what we've done here, and then solving for that expression, that's what we've done here, to figure out what the result is. All right, so here is another example. It says, James divides his 32 marbles between himself and 3 friends. And then he gives 2 of his marbles away. So we want to figure out, all right, how many marbles does James have left after this? So we know that he started with 32 marbles, right? And then he divides it between himself and 3 of his friends. And that's tricky. He's not just dividing it among 3 friends. It's himself and 3 friends. So how many people are he dividing the marbles between? Well, himself and 3. Really, it's himself and 3 of his friends, right? So it's a grand total of 4 people are involved there. And then he gives 2 of his marbles away. So what expression if we give something away? If he gives them away, what are we doing if we're giving something away? We're taking it away. We are minusing it, right? All right, so how do we write this as an expression? So, James, he started with 32 marbles. That's where we're starting, right? And what did he do with those 32 marbles? He divided them between himself and 3 of his friends, right? So a total of 4. So he took those 32 marbles and he divided it by 4. Why 4? Well, because he divided among himself and his 3 friends. Then what did he do? Then he gave 2 of his marbles away. So again, writing this expression, we're going to have to put some parentheses here. We take the 32 marbles, he divided it among 4, and then what was left of those marbles, he took 2 of those marbles away. So let's figure out how many marbles he has left here. So 32 divided by 4. So he had 8 marbles. So if you think about it, he gave 8, 8, 8, 8, right? To each one of his friends. They all have 8 marbles, right? His 4 friends, they each got 8 marbles of his 32. And then what did he do? It said he gave 2 of them away, minus 2, for a grand total of 6. So if this here is James, it would be 8. He took 2 away. He has a grand total of 6 left over. So if you think of that, kind of picture that in your mind, 32 marbles, split it among 4 people, and then take 2 away from that, what's left over. That's our expression. So when you're asked to write the expression today, that's the expression. Numbers and symbols, numbers and operations, in order to solve for a value. In this case, he has 6 marbles left. That's our value. All right, here's another real-world situation, something you could find yourself in the future. So it says Anita has $36. That's important. She earns 24 more. Whenever you hear that word more, what operation are we doing? Yeah, we're adding, right? More. Then she decides to divide her money evenly, that's a key word, into what? 3 accounts. So she's taking that money she's earned, and she's dividing it into 3 accounts. She withdraws. What does it mean to withdraw? Withdraw is to take out. So if you have a bank account and you withdraw money, you're taking it away from the money that you have in the bank. So withdraw, that's a minus. How much is she withdrawing? She's withdrawing $9 from one of the accounts. How much money is left in the account where she withdrew that money? Write and evaluate an expression. All right, so let's start from the beginning. What did she start with? Anita started with $36. Okay, and then what happened to that $36? It said she earned 24 more, right? That word more, so that's telling me I'm adding $24 to this. So $36 plus $24. Then what'd she do with that money? She decided to divide her money evenly into 3 accounts. So how do I express that? When you divide something, kind of giving it away there, isn't it? What am I dividing by 3 accounts? So I'm not just dividing the 24 by 3. I'm dividing all of the money she put into her bank, right? So we took 36 plus 24. That's how much money she had in her bank. And then she split that money into 3 accounts. Now, it says she withdraws $9 from one of the accounts. So she took this money, divided it into the 3 accounts, and then she took $9 away from that. So I need to put another parenthesis and minus 9 from it, because that's how much she took away. So our expression, this is our expression right here. Now let's solve for this expression. Again, going back to our order of operations we talked about yesterday, it's really important. So we need to start with the innermost. That's this right here. So 36 plus 24, that is $60. I need to take that $60 and divide it by 3, but I still need to put that parentheses around it. And then go ahead and solve for this. 60 divided by 3, that would be 20. So she has $20 in each one of those accounts. And then one of those accounts, she took $9 away. So she is left with that one account, has $11 in it. So she has 3 accounts now. 2 of the accounts have $20 in it, right? 20, 20, and then this other account has $11 in it because she took 9 away from that one account. All right, guys, I'd like you to go ahead and open up your practice books, 495. I'd like you to work on problems 2 and problem 3. When you get to problem 3, really think about it. Go ahead and solve those problems. Pause the video now, and then come back for the solution to see how you did on these problems. All right, so let's take a look at these. So problem number 2, we are dividing. It actually tells us our operation there, right? We are dividing 15 by 3. Then we are adding 13. So this one's pretty simple. We are taking 15, we are dividing it by 3, then we are adding 13. Well, the then tells us we need to do something else before that. So we need to make sure we show that we are doing 15 divided by 3 first. All right? Then we add 13. Well, when you have that then, that means that comes after. All right, so what is this equal to? 15 divided by 3. Let me get a different color. I think that one's hard to see. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Is that better? I think so. 15 or 5 plus 13 is equal to a grand total of 18 is our answer. All right, let's see how we did on this next one. I told you number 3 was kind of tricky. You had to really think about what you were doing here. So it says we are going to subtract. Well, obviously that is the subtraction. What are we subtracting? We're subtracting 4 from 20, and that is the tricky part. Then we're going to divide by 2. That's not so tricky. It's this first part right here. So we are subtracting 4 from 20. What are we starting with? Are we starting with 4 or are we starting with 20? And what are we taking away? We're not starting with 4. We're starting with 20. So you may have a propensity to put 4 minus 20, but that's not right. What are we starting? We're starting with this 20. So when we write our expression, we need to put 20 minus 4, not 4 minus 20, because we're starting with 20 and we're taking this 4 from the 20. Then, we have that word then. That means that the 20 minus 4 needs to come first, so I need to put parentheses. Then we are taking that and we're dividing it by 2. Okay? All right, let's solve for our total here. So, first, inside the parentheses, 20 minus 4 is 16. 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay? That one was a tricky one. So, subtraction is always the tricky part because the order matters. When we're adding or we're multiplying, the order doesn't matter. But when we're subtracting and dividing, the order definitely matters. So really think about what we are taking away. What are we starting with and what are we taking away? All right, I'd like you to go ahead and read number 8 and solve it. So you're writing a numerical expression and then solving for the amount. Go ahead and pause the video, solve the problem, and then come back for the solution. All right, so let's read through this. Go get my red marker. Deidre doubled her savings account balance of $100. Well, what does it mean to double something? It means you're multiplying something times 2, right? Something doubles. If I had $1 and it doubled, it would be 2. If I had $2 and doubled, it would be 4. I'm multiplying it by 2. So what doubled? Her balance of $100 doubled. And then she withdrew. We had that word withdrew before. That's to take away. She is subtracting, right? Withdrew $30 to buy some clothes. So let's write this down as an expression. So, first off, she had $100. And what happened to that $100? It doubled, right? So we have 100 times 2. I need to put that into parentheses because then, then is always a clue to us saying, then something else happens. We need to do that doubling first. Then she withdrew, as we talked about over here, subtracting. How much did she take away? She took away $30 to buy some clothes. So how much does she have left now? So Inside the parentheses, 100 times 2 is 200. And she bought some clothes for $30. She has left $170 after she purchased those new clothes. But she looks awesome now. So it's all worth it. All right. Let's go ahead and think about what we did today. What did we learn today? We took written verbal expressions, made numerical sentences out of them. Let's think about, in summary, today I learned how to write numerical expressions that evaluate a real-life situation. We talked about taking money out of the bank in the last problem, or some of the other situations we talked about, putting an actual expression or an equation to what is happening.